It is Monday, September 8th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick this summer? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, and intern Sawyer, back after a long, fun, sporting weekend. How was Kansas City, dude?
It was excellent. I enjoy that city a ton. So I actually only had 2 games there. Saturday, the game was on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So I got booted out of the booth. And I ended up having a nice dinner by myself. Shout out 801 Chop House, took care of me. And I sat next to Jefferson Tillery of the Kansas City Chiefs. Defensive lineman.
Jerry Tillery.
Jerry Tillery.
He's a very, very large man.
I sat next to him. We started talking baseball, and I was like, I know you play something because your hands are massive.
Yeah.
And we started talking Chiefs. He was just back in from Brazil.
Yep.
So it was fun. I mean, I got to call a couple games, got to have a nice little dinner there, talk to him. And
he's a massive human being, isn't he?
Yes.
He's very, very large. Big dude. Okay, well, that sounds fun. You'll be back in the booth at Angel Stadium tonight, and I say that because our tip of the cap goes to an announcer who is in the very booth that you will be in this evening.
Goes right to Trout. Dallas got it! He did it! He did it! There we go! Yes!
That's right, Gooby. That's right.
He did it!
That's right. That's what we're here for. That's why you came. That's why we play the game.
Well, it's not exactly why we play the game, but Dallas, we all love him. Great personality, good dude. Now, pressure's on because you bring your mitt to the game, Plouffe, so you have to one-up him.
Well, I see, if I have my mitt on, I don't think I can one-up him. That was a barehanded catch.
It's true.
So this is a great place to catch foul balls when you're in the broadcaster's booth, so I'll be ready. I'm ready. But tip of the cap, Dallas. That's great. Great catch. And then Gooby going across. Give him the high five. That's broadcast brothers right there.
And I think I saw that Mike Trout signed the ball too for Dallas.
So
that's
good.
Pretty good. I love that. Good work, everybody. All right. Wild weekend. Dodgers East Coast road trip from hell continued. They lost 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. Finally snapped a skid yesterday. But let's talk about what happened on Saturday night. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was incredible on Saturday. 8 2/3 innings of no-hit baseball. He was incredible. They let him go out there for the 9th. Awesome. 2 down. Jackson Holiday clicks him. We'll talk about Andy Pages and the effort in just a bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, here comes Dave Roberts, because it says in the manager handbook that if a guy loses a no-hitter in the 9th, you have to immediately pull him. Hugs, handshakes, kisses. Great job. We'll see you in the wedding reception line. That's it. We'll turn it over to Blake Trine and let him finish it out. That didn't exactly work. He gave up a hit, gave up a bunch of walks, gave up a run. It's now 3-2 bases loaded. They pull him for Tanner Scott, and this happens.
Rivera up the middle. Base hit. Mateo around third. Mateo will score. One more magical moment in time on September the 6th in Baltimore.
You know, once he gave up that homer, and that was still a pretty good pitch, then you've given up, you know, the shutout, the no-hitter, and then for me, I felt that, you know, we pushed him far enough, and so we've got to be able to get one out, and that's just, you know, we just got to be able to get one out.
There's really no words. You know, you're paid to be a professional and at least throw strikes, and I didn't do that, and cost one of the better outings I've ever seen in my career with Yama. He deserves better than that. Offense deserves better than that.
And, of course, manager Dave Roberts and then reliever Blake Trine. Can we start with the Pages thing? Because I actually tweeted out after it happened, I said, my gosh, doesn't he at least have to go all the way back to the fence because of it's all about time and place? Now, I still haven't seen a definitive angle in terms of how close the ball was. That's kind of irrelevant to me. He just has to get back there and try and make a play, even if it's 4 feet over his head, right?
Yeah, at that point, and he got back there, like he was there, and then he stopped and turned to play the ricochet, which he did. But you know, at that point, it's not about like the right outfield play. It's about going and keeping the no intact. He had a chance at that ball. There's no doubt about it. But for some reason, I don't know if like that just wasn't in his head. I don't know how it couldn't be in his head. But he played it like it was a ball in the first inning. So that was interesting. That was the first thing I thought of as well.
I understand that he doesn't play there very often. It is kind of a wacky corner there in right center field. And he had been in center field, I think, for most of the game and had just switched over to right. So I understand all that. But still, once again, it's all about time and place. You don't play every ball the same way. And the fact that he didn't go back there and at least you got to Spider-Man that shit. Like there's guys we've seen in Japan over the year literally climbing walls to try and get up there. You do whatever you can because it's not just preserving a no-hitter, but you are trying to get the last out. And as you heard Dave Roberts say, we just have to get one out, and they could not get that 27th out. Now let's move on to Dave Roberts' decision to pull Yamamoto. He had been at 112 pitches. Do you have any problem with what Dave Roberts did?
I mean, hindsight, you're going to look back on it and say, well, we could have got one more out from him, but like he has his guys ready to go. And I think that's a decision that a manager makes 100 times out of 100. So I really don't fault Dave Roberts. I mean, he's right. One out to get. Trinan's there. I know Tanner Scott gave it up the night before. Samuel Basayo has the walk-off against him, but I really don't have a problem with it. They're looking towards the postseason. They understand that they're going to have to rely on Yamamoto to give them some starts. They're going to be in a wild card round. I have no problem with him taking them out. I know it looks bad because they ended up giving it up. And, you could talk what you want about pitch count and, was he, what kind of pitches was he throwing at that point? How much high stress was there left? I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with him taking them out.
I seemingly think that every time a no-hitter is available in the ninth inning and a guy gives up a hit, that's it. As I joked, it feels like it's in the manager handbook.
Kind of.
So let's just play it out. Next hitter works 6 pitches and gets a walk. Now you're at 118. Now the tying run comes to the plate. Then I'm good to move. They had not been barreling him up. They just hadn't been.
So you say until a tying run gets to the plate, you let him go.
Absolutely. Particularly with the way your bullpen has been.
Yeah.
They've been used more than any other bullpen out there, basically. They have now blown more saves, which eventually gets us to the next point, which is how worried are you about this team down the stretch, which only has a 1-game lead over the Padres for the West? Technically, it's 2 because they won the season series. But it is only 1 game, mathematically. And then you get to the playoffs, and they're going to have to end up playing in the wild card round. They're going to have to win.
No matter what, they're going to be playing in the wild card series. They're not catching Philadelphia. They're not catching the Brewers.
Right. So they're going to have to win 13 games to lift up the championship trophy again. Do you trust this bullpen to do that?
I don't know if I trust the bullpen. I don't know if I trust the offense, if we're being honest. I mean, like up and down that roster right now, it's looking old. Is kind of what I'll say. They're looking like me and you, even though I shaved today. I look a little bit younger. But yeah, Mookie's actually been hitting better. A lot of people point to Mookie in the season he's had. Like he's been over the last 30 days, like he's hit a lot better. But the rest of the lineup, like it gets thin down at the bottom. Now you can say this. They're getting Max Muncy back tonight. Is that the cure-all? Like it has been this season. Can it be that? Maybe. Maybe the offense just, boom, snaps back into life. And that will be huge for them because you mentioned, the bullpen. They're getting Vesia back, I think, this week. But they haven't shown up at all this season. And then you could talk about the starters and Glass now having to miss a start, and we'll see how that goes. It's just looking like it looks like an aging roster, man. And that is like not something I expected to really say. I guess maybe we should think that because if you look at some of the guys on offense, I mean, it's more of a veteran team, but it's looked old.
I think that the Dodgers are going to be like a lot of teams that when you put bullpen pieces in October, they're going to be holding their breath. And I don't think they expected to feel that way. I thought they under-delivered at the deadline.
Yes.
They only got Brock Stewart from your Twins, and he's been banged up. He had 2 appearances, then he went on the shelf. when there were guys that were being moved that were really solid back-end relievers, I don't think it's enough to look down in a bullpen these days and say, well, these guys have done it for us for 3 or 4 years in the postseason, or they've had nice runs. You know, Kirby Yates has been a very dependable closer. Tanner Scott, they have totally misfired on that. Year one has been an unmitigated disaster for him in a 4-year, $72 million deal. And Blake Trinan, although he has, yes, done it at a very high level for a long time, he's been hit and miss, and his health has been just so-so. So I don't even know if, like, you feel like you could make it through the rest of the year with that guy. It ain't going to be easy.
I don't think you're putting Tanner Scott out there right now to close a playoff game. I don't really know who else you go to.
Well, I mean, do you go to Ben Kasparius?
I do not know.
Do you go to Jack Dreyer? Like, those are guys. Do you go is it Henriquez? Isn't that his name? The guy that throws all that gas? Yeah, Henriquez. So, I mean, they're not going to feel great. Whatever they do, they're not going to feel great. And I don't think they're different than some other teams out there. Like the Padres, we know they feel good about the direction they're going. The Mets, depending on certain guys, feel okay. The Phillies, okay. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You better be watching every out of the playoff games. Do not turn that shit out, because this year you are going to see some crazy finishes, and we're going to say, remember when we told you that?
I guess who is the tried and true bullpen right now in the big leagues?
I think the Yankees are pretty close, depending on.
I mean, Boston and what Chapman's done at the end of the games is great.
Right. I mean, the only thing is like, we'll be talking at some point about what the Yankees do with Devin Williams when they get to the playoffs, because other than that, they've been really good. But he has these outings where we talk about him like once every other week. Oh, we'll see. Let us know, Dodger fans. I know you're out there. How worried are you going down the stretch with now less than 3 weeks to go in the regular season, and then you're going to be playing in a series 3 weeks from tomorrow is my guess. We'll see how it all goes. I can't wait. I think it's going to be awesome. Speaking of the Yankees, they inch closer to the Toronto Blue Jays, so they're within a couple games in the AL East. They take 2 of 3. Sunday, they got an early home run from Ben Rice, and it was a huge shot. It was a great at-bat. I believe it was 10 pitches. So you see the homer. Earlier in the at-bat, you saw Aaron Judge out at second base, and he's waving his arms. There he is. Big dude. You can't miss him, number 99 in your program. So Toronto was asked about this afterward.
Yeah, they were relaying. Yeah, they're good at it. You know, Max has got to be a little bit better. You know, it was obvious in the changeups. You know, Rice just missed the one, foul homer, and it's fair game. You know, the whole Major League Baseball knows the Yankees are good when they got something. You know, I'm not the only one that's going to say it. Maybe I'm the only one that's going to say it publicly, but we got to do a better job of making sure we're not giving anything away. So at the end of the day, you got to be tight. You got to make pitches. But yeah, it was pretty clear Bellinger was giving it to Judge, and Judge was giving it to Rice. Yeah.
Cody Bellinger was asked about it. He said, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what was going on. Quote, we talk about it pregame. You just go out there and look for it. If you see it, then you obviously do what you can. Are you surprised that both sides are so openly talking about this?
I mean, not really, just because the way that the Yankees are giving the signs. I think you have to. You know, I was talking to Jake about this before. That's the shocking thing to me, is how brazen they are with it. You know, and it's because it's coming in a little bit later. But at the same time, it's always been a thing, trying to get tips from pitchers. That's always been a thing. It's turned into something different in today's game, because around the parks, we have so many different camera angles. Every single angle you can think of. I was going to say a joke there, a dirty one. I didn't. Every single angle that you can think of, they got camera angles, and now every single organization has, at the very least, a couple humans studying film and relaying what's going on. Yes, some guys in the dugout might pick it up, and you might pick something up when you're on the base pass. Yes, but by and large, nowadays, it's those guys that work for the organization picking tells up, relaying them to the players, and then if they go out there and see them, then yes, they relay. So, I mean, the Yankees right now, I don't know if they're the best in the league at it. They're certainly one of them, and they don't care that anybody sees it. And I think it's weird because I don't mind it. And I've been on the record many times. It's not cheating. Like, if you pick up a tell on a pitcher, that's the pitcher's fault. And you have the same people that are picking the other team apart, they're picking their pitchers apart as well, making sure you're not tipping. I'm surprised like Scherzer didn't throw one at somebody.
Are you?
I am. Like that would be like the old school way to think about it. Like, okay, if you guys are going to do this and I can't really figure it out in the game, not right now, like then maybe I'll just hit you and then maybe you won't give the sign again. Like that's an old school way to think about it. Do I think that's how it should be done? No, I think you should clean it up yourself. And like you're the one messing up.
Right.
But back in the day, I feel like that would have happened. And Max Scherzer's like a back in the day type pitcher. He didn't do it. I want to say this again. I said this on Talking Baseball just not too long ago, but I want to reiterate because I want it on record. If it's a couple people in your organization looking at video and finding tells, great, nothing you can do about it. If it's a software program, I'm out. I think it should be banned. I don't know how you ban that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Yankees are doing that. I'm saying use your brain. Like, I'm sure teams are already doing that. I'm sure they're already doing that. If that's the case, it should be outlawed, but you can't outlaw it.
No, I think we're too far down the road technologically. There's probably no turning back, and I think something that's added to it.
But do you like that? Like the freaking
I don't.
program saying, "Oh, he's like, like that's not sport.
No,
that's
I
not
don't think so.
gamesmanship to me."
It's not because it's a talent to be able to steal somebody's signs and tells and think that is a true baseball talent. And I don't think it takes talent to punch things into,
Dude,
an
the
iPad.
videos just go into a program and they tell you what's different.
It's that part is tough. And once again, you heard John Schneider. For Yankee fans are like, I hate that dude. He all gave you props.
Yeah.
He's like, they're the best team in the league. They are good at it. And it's our job to figure it out. That's exactly, and I found it I appreciate the transparency on kind of all angles about this. Nobody's like, well, I didn't do anything. No, we weren't waving our arms. Might have been, Aaron Judge just wanted to fly like a bird or something. Like, no, that's not what was happening. So they're honest, and it's up to the other team to figure this whole thing out. But I agree with you on the whole. There is one thing I think that has made it even worse. It's the pitchers' lack of times that they can step off.
Okay.
And if you can't step off, I mean, like the catcher can see Aaron Judge flapping his wings, right? Then maybe he could give a sign for the pitcher to step off before he delivers the ball. Now you're limited. You can't step off as much as you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's you just got to be dialed in before the start happens, though.
Totally.
Like you have to have people say, "Hey, this is what's going on," and if you don't, you don't, and you're going to get busted. Today's game, like they are all over the video.
Yep. All right, today's episode, Baseball Today, it is sponsored by Mando. Fall's here, guys. Football season, yard work, maybe even hunting trips. That's why you need to hear about Mando deodorant. Forget those colognes that just mask the stink. Mando blocks odor before it starts. It's one stick, two jobs. That's coverage through double overtime games, that weekend project, even those extra long pre-holiday shifts. You're good. It's not magic. It's science. It doesn't just mask odor. It prevents it. 100% of study participants experienced all-day odor protection. Mando's starter pack, it's perfect for new customers out there. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash, the deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers, you're going to get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use the code JMBaseball at shopmando.com, 20% off site-wide and free shipping. I'll spell it for you, SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered. Protect your pits. Smell great while doing it. You'll have a better, fresher, cleaner day. All right. Another day, another Mets young stud delivered. This is Brandon Sproat. He actually took a no-hitter into his major league debut into the 5th inning in Cincinnati. Ended up going 6. He took the loss, but he pitched well. His family loved it. Mets fans, I'm sure, loved it. Interestingly enough, this came 2 days after Kodai Senga accepted assignment to the minors. He's down in AAA Syracuse. He's working on some mechanical issues. He'll eventually get back on the mound in a game. Plouffe, is there any way the Mets can trust Senga over the youngsters that have come up come October?
I think there is a way. I mean, we still have, I guess, 2 or 3 starts left. And, if we can if we identify a problem and can fix it, then there is a way. Now, do I think he's going to be a game 1 starter in the playoffs? I don't think so. I actually talked to Jolly about this on Friday, and I said, what's going to happen? Is Peterson going to be your game 1 starter? He's kind of struggled as of late. Clay Holmes' second half hasn't been as good as his first half was. And now we got McLean up there looking like he should be the game 1 starter, but he's 4 starts into his big league career. So this is another fascinating thing for me as the playoffs come. Like, I love to see how teams start to set up their rotation. I do not know what the Mets are going to do. They have options, but they're interesting options. Between Tong, Sproat, and McLean, you're looking at 3 rookies who have looked good. Do you trust them in the playoffs? In a 3-game set, that's kind of crazy. In a 7-game set, you give a start to one of those guys or 2 of those guys, and okay, there's room to make up games, or if there's a bad outing. But in a 3-game set, there's no room for error. So it's, what do you trust? Do you trust the veterans, or do you trust some guys that have come up and look good right away? I think it's going to be for Carlos Mendoza. I think that you're going to have a quick hook no matter what.
Well, you don't have
go
time.
in there, and it's going to be almost like a piggyback situation every single day.
I agree. And they do have the depth. If Senga can, I'm not going to say get right, but get back to the point where first of all, they're going to have to decide whether or not they put him on a playoff roster.
Yes.
I mean, that's the first decision. And at this point, if he does not get any better, if he does not figure things out mechanically, then the answer is going to be no. Do you know in the second half, guess what the OPS is of hitters against Kodai Senga in the second half of the year?
You're making it sound like it's pretty big. I don't know. I'm going to guess in the 9s.
It is in the 9s. I think it's 918.
Sheesh.
Yeah, 918. And the problem is in the playoffs, you don't know. Yes, the last 3 outs are super critical, but you don't know when that game can turn. It could turn when you're trying to get out 13. And so those playoff roster spots are so valuable. At this point, I don't even think he's on the roster right now.
And they'd be on the road right now. They'd be playing the Dodgers as of today.
I would say
you're gonna send those dudes into that. Hey, Rook, you're on the mound, and the first 3 hitters are Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie with Will Smith backing them up. That's crazy.
You know what's possible with the first? Well, I don't think those guys really care whether they face lefties or righties.
You think opener straight to rookie?
I mean, you could even throw Minaya out there to start a game, try and get through Ohtani.
Absolutely.
Muncy,
his problem's been later in the games, not being able to get through the order a few times. So maybe you open with Minaya. You go kind of see what he looks like. Doesn't have to be just 1 inning, and then you can bring those guys in. Yeah, they're gonna have to be creative. I truly believe that.
And you're also asking, I would have to go back and look because I just don't know this with these young kids, these 3 kids that have come up, if any of them have pitched out of the bullpen at their career, right? Because if you're asking, I don't
think that matters.
You don't think it does? For guys who have a starting routine? I mean, I've talked to some guys who are like, it is an adjustment.
Of course,
it's
an adjustment, but you'll go do it. You'll figure it out. You just need those guys. You just need to give them more of a heads up of more time to warm up. That's basically the biggest thing. So they have to figure that out when we start getting ready. I need enough time to get ready.
When do they long toss?
I mean, they long toss and then they get their ass in there. I mean, look, your arm's not going to fall off because you go to the bullpen and don't long toss right before. These guys are, they're athletes. What? It's going to be fascinating. It's one of the fun things about the playoffs is how you line your pitching up. And we could be talking, this is the thing, next year we could be talking, hey, holy shit, the Mets have these 3 young kids. They're going to start games 1, 2, and 3. And we're not worried about a piggyback, but I don't think that's the case yet.
Yes or no, Kodai Senga on the playoff roster?
I say yes.
I think I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I think they're going to go Peterson. I think we'll get game 1 as long as they can line it up and they're not fighting. You just gave me a frowny face, huh?
I know we were giving him super props because he was the only Mets pitcher to get into the 6 for however long. I know we were doing that, but it hasn't been the same.
I know. I think McLean gets game 2. I think. I actually like starting Manai in a game and letting him just get like a couple of innings.
Mania Tong, game 3.
And then what do you do with Holmes?
Bulky guy.
That's the one guy I'm having a hard time with.
I mean, he can be put in the bullpen the easiest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. God, fascinating.
Yeah, it is. I love it.
All right. Hasn't been a ton of stuff to talk about on the south side of Chicago this year. They've obviously been better than they were a year ago. They've got some really interesting young players. One in particular.
1-2. Montgomery drives it deep into the Detroit night. Get out! Are you not entertained with what this young man is doing in the second half of the season? Oh, you can throw it back all you want.
Yeah, well, they just took a series from Central leading Detroit on the road. That was after sweeping a 4-game set from your Twins. This kid just keeps doing it. You know, as I mentioned, they've got some interesting young pieces. He is front and center with that.
Yeah, no, he's been an absolute stud. If you look at the overall numbers, it's kind of like rookie-ish, 230 batting average, 299 OBP, but he's crushing the ball. He's got 18 homers, I believe, in 53 games. I went and looked at the Savant, wanted to look under the hood there. Very much like what you'd expect from a young guy. Like the chase is there, the whiff rate is there. But the bat speed is elite. 77 miles an hour on average. He's like right up there with Schwarber, O'Neal Cruz, Junior Caminero, the guys that swing the bat the hardest in the game. That means something. Then I was like, okay, this guy can bang the ball around. Big dude, shortstop. He's great. He already logged 5 outs above average. So that's, to me,
that's pretty good.
We're looking at like the start of a superstar.
Interesting.
It has the makings of that, because the other things, the things that he's deficient at right now are things he's supposed to be deficient at right now.
He had 18 homers over a 37-game stretch. Only 3 other White Sox in their history had ever pulled off something like that. Big Hurt, Jim Thome, Albert Bell. That's only like 3 of the most feared hitters that we've seen in the game in the last 40 years.
Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Now let's get to the other side of this. The Tigers. And I've wanted to talk about this for a little while. Do you think that they're on a collision course in October where it's going to be Tarek Skubal and then shut your eyes? Let's hope AJ can do his magic.
I don't think so much. I think Casey Mize will still get a start. I think Flaherty's going to get one, but on a short leash as well. So I don't think it to the extent that we saw it last year, but I do think that it'll be some semblance of it for sure. I do. Skubal's been obviously the most reliable starter. You can go around and find spurts where the other guys have been good, been bad. I think it's going to be, Scoobs gets it. We have a couple other starters, but quick hooks.
It's a tough way to go. And I know that they're going to be in good shape because I still feel like they're going to get a bye. And so have to win 11 games as opposed to 13 games in the postseason to win it all. That is a monumental difference, particularly the way that they play. But I think the pitching chaos will return, right? Last year, they basically had 2 starters in the playoffs, and that was it. I know that Reese Olson just started a throwing program. Whenever you say somebody's starting a throwing program, that means, you're holding your breath for something like that. Charlie Morton had a couple good starts, and now he's getting knocked around like he's 40+. Casey Mize, all-star first half, but he's still not a big strikeout guy. And OPS in the second half, opposing batters, it's well over 800. Flaherty has not had a good year. I think we're going to see exactly what we saw last year, and that is a dangerous, dangerous way to live. It is a dangerous way to live if you aren't relying on your starter to try and at least get 15 outs in today's game. Last year, I think the average was a shade under 4 1/3 for a start in the playoffs. We're talking about less than 13 outs from your starter. And I think on days that Skubal doesn't pitch, I think it's going to be less than that for the Tigers.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mize and Flaherty get starts, but again, I think it's just a quick hook or maybe, I don't know, maybe we see an opener, then those guys, and then a quick hook. Yeah, they're going to have to get creative.
Is that an area where you think that AJ can outsmart himself?
No, I don't think so. I mean, no. What do you mean outsmart himself?
He's a guy who, and I actually like AJ. I really do. I like spending time with him. He's extremely thoughtful. I mean, he's a Stanford guy. He's got a very good personality. Like, he's fun to talk to.
Okay.
But I do think that he wants to be the smart manager. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think that is part of his deal, is that he wants to, at the end of the day, be the guy that won the chess match.
Well, I mean, yeah, doesn't every manager want to win the chess match?
I think that there are managers who would be like, fuck, I would love it if you could give me a guy who's a little bit worse than Terry.
Well, sure.
He's that way I don't have to think this. I think
thrust
he
into this
loves
situation.
I think he craves that side of things. I mean, the other side of it. Yeah, the other side of the discussion is that's the hand he's dealt. And so, boy, we're thankful that we've got a guy who can handle that sort of load, because look at what managers do to blow up the playoffs sometimes.
Yeah, he's a guy. He knows the lanes that he wants to get into. He's very good with doing that. Do they always end up that way? No, but I think that if there's anyone, I agree. If there's a manager out there that you'd want at the helm of something like a pitching chaos, I think he's shown that he can do it.
Finnegan, that injury is one to keep an eye on. He just went on the injured list last week with the groin when he was warming up in the bullpen. He's been great so far. I don't think he's given up an earned run in over 14 innings work for them. So they got to get him healthy. Maybe Canely has gotten through his couple months struggle. He's a veteran that they can rely on. A lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts these last 3 weeks into the playoffs, and I love it. All right, this show, it is sponsored by BetterHelp. We've all done it before. Turning to our barista, our hairdresser, a random stranger in the bathroom for life advice. As fun as they are to talk with about everyday topics, when you're looking for help about relationships, anxiety, depression, or other clinical issues, they may not have all the right answers. Instead, get guidance from a credentialed therapist online with BetterHelp. So instead of turning to a random stranger, turn to a trained and credentialed therapist. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. With BetterHelp, you can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapists at any time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. And our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/baseball today. That is help, HELP.com/baseball today. All right. A couple of Phillies notes before we get out of here. They're waiting word on their shortstop, Trey Turner. He left Sunday's game in Miami with a bad hammy, and MRI is coming. Would that be as big a loss, a bigger loss, or not as big a loss as the one they suffered when Zack Wheeler went down with surgery?
Well, it won't be as big a loss because I think they'll get him back for the playoffs. Like, if he has a hammy injury now, there's time to get right before the playoffs. Now, you could talk about timing and all those things. Like, is he going to come back the same hitter? That's something to think about, because, if you take 2 weeks off and there's not a ton of rehab games that he'd be able to go on, that's interesting to me. But, I think even if he has, it's got to be like a grade 1. If it's more than that, then that's a different story. If it's just a regular grade 1 hamstring, you give yourself 2 weeks, you'll be back ready to go before you even know it. So I don't think it's as big a deal as Wheeler, who we're probably not going to get back this season. So yeah, it's not as big of a loss as Zack Wheeler.
Well, yeah, we're going to kind of wait until we project that side of things. But here's what you're losing. You would be losing the National League's leading hitter.
Yes.
You've been losing the guy who has the most hits in the National League, a guy that has over 30 bags, and even though he's in his early 30s, can still really run and be disruptive when Philly's got a lot of mashers and guys that are kind of plodding from base to base. That's not what Trey Turner does. Trey Turner's got the best slide in the sport. He can still move his feet, and every 90 feet, it's not the last time you're going to hear me say that on the show this year, every 90 feet is so big in October. So that it's just something to keep your eyes on. Last year, when he had a hamstring issue, it cost him 6 weeks. Now, they had more time to deal with. It was more in the middle of the season. This is the end of the season, so they're going to take a chance. Even if he's not 100% ready, they're going to have him out there. The question is, will he be able to air it out? Because that's not a guy you want to put a restrictor plate on.
Yeah, we got 3 weeks. Like I would, if I'm the Phillies, I give him almost all of that. Maybe bring him back for the last series of the year. Look, there's 7 games up. They're going to be popping champagne, winning the NL East very soon. So you don't need him for the end of the season. I would like to have him back for a few games to get his feet under him at the end of the year before we start the playoffs up. Can they keep the bye? That's also huge for the situation here. So they got to, I think, have that in their mind as well. But they're going to have Trey Turner back.
Before we get to the last bit of the day, just a quick shout out to our friends over at Nike. We have an awesome new partnership with them, so go check out our affiliate link in the description below. Shop for some amazing gear. Michelle and I sat on the couch as we celebrated our 28th wedding anniversary on Saturday. Oh, are those new?
No, they're my John Boy Nikes.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah.
Damn, man, where'd you get those?
Don't worry about it, Chris Rose.
Okay.
I don't know. I got those a while ago.
Okay.
Actually, the DraftKings sent it to us.
Who did?
DraftKings a while back, I think.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. That was really nice. Yeah, so go do a little shopping. I just did it this weekend. Got myself a pair of shoes. Nice outfit. I'll be feeling crispy. Be looking fresh. It'll be nice. All right. Now let's get to what happened in Miami. Oh, boy. You better be careful. Cameras are always on, people. You know that. There's a home run ball. Dad gets it, brings it back to his sonny boy who was celebrating a birthday. Yeah, that'll win. What? Who is this woman? Why are you attacking me? Why are you yelling at me right now? What? It was over there? Wait, so the ball was in front of your seat and I picked it up. It's free game, right? So the woman wants the baseball. So the dad was like, what do I do? This woman is accosting me in front of my family. You want this ball? Then get out of here. Fine. Well, the Marlins found out about that. They gave him a nice gift bag. That's awesome. Classy Marlins. Gave it for he and his, I think he's got a sister along for the ride. That was really nice. And it got even better because, as you can see, they're wearing Phillies shirts, right? They're a Philly family. Phillies were there. So Harrison Bader was like, well, I mashed that ball. Here's a bat. Here's a ball. What else do you want, kid? So it turned out to be extremely well done by Harrison Bader and the Phillies. Exceptionally well done by the hometown Marlins. But this woman, like, her name has ended up on social media, and I will not sit here and defend her because I think it's disgusting. First of all, ball's on the ground. If he didn't rip it out of your hand, it's a free ball, isn't it?
It is. I mean, look, she overreacted. There's no doubt about it. This guy handled the situation great. At the end, he's like, just get out of my face, take the ball. Like, it doesn't mean that much. Like, we'll figure it out. Then, obviously, the Marlins and Harrison did such a good job with all this. I got two things of advice for this lady. Like, realize, there's cameras everywhere, okay? And drop the haircut. The haircut, I think that's made the situation way worse because that's the universal Karen haircut.
Oh my God.
It is, Chris. You know it.
I know
the hair was
nice
different. It's a different story. It's the Karen haircut elevated this story to the highest of highs. And I don't think she should be doxxed or like lose her job, which I heard.
No.
Who knows? I don't think that's true. I hope it's not true.
No.
Like, to me, that's too far. Like, did she act poorly? Yes. Is she going to get criticized online and booed in the stadium? Sure, but she shouldn't lose her job or standing in society because of it, but lose the haircut.
Wow.
It's
I know
true,
of nice
Chris.
people.
You know that's the universal Karen haircut.
Well, come on now. I'm not going to generalize people based on their haircuts.
It's not. I'm not doing that.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Google Karen haircut and see what happens. I'm going to do it right now because I have never done this.
Great.
Karen haircut.
Oh, you're taking us down
Do
an
it.
ugly road.
Put it up, Dan. Google Karen haircut. Put it on the screen for me. Thank you.
Oh my God. Really? Is this
Yeah,
what we're
I'm
doing
just
now?
saying, Chris, it's not my fault. And it's not this haircut's fault. It's the society's fault. But it just is. Some things just are.
Well, that's the first image. Okay, let's move on. I will agree with you that it was terrible. Like, just think about what you're doing. You obviously, it's a baseball. It is a baseball. He didn't go into your purse and steal it. It was on the ground. So get some quicker hands.
And she was a Phillies fan too. They were Phillies fans.
Yeah. And then just realize the moment, even if cameras are not on, just think about how you want to treat other human beings. I know that, listen, I've had the good fortune of having my family around this sport for 2 decades, right? My kids are almost 25 and 20. And I see I used to see when their faces would light up when they would get a baseball. So I understand the importance no matter what age you are. But you have to understand, once again, it's all about time and place. This kid was very happy. It's fine. You can be disappointed, lady, that the guy got the ball. Dan, you got to run the first clip. I want to show you something that's underrated about this again. Watch the dad as he is hugging his son. And look at how startled he is when she puts her hand on his shoulder. Watch this. It was like there was an intruder in the house.
He saw the haircut. He knew what was about to happen.
Oh, my God. And I agree with you. For people that are like, okay, here's her name. You know what to do on social media. Stop that. That's disgusting. She didn't do anything illegal. She did something wrong and not smart. But stop, because now people are attacking other people that have the same name on their Facebook page or wherever they're available. There was a woman who had to put out, "This is not me. I share the same name. I am a Red Sox fan. I find what she did disgusting." But what is this mob mentality?
Yeah,
Stop.
I think that's brutal. I mean, look, maybe some people deserve that, but this is not an instance of that.
This is not the case.
Yeah. Save that for like people that are actually like breaking the law, doing bad things.
Right.
This is just like a stupid thing.
Yeah, exactly. Are you surprised it became as big a deal? Because it really got a ton of play.
Haircut.
It's not the haircut. That's not why.
Comment below if you think the haircut elevated this story.
No way.
We live in a meme culture, Chris.
Oh, my God. So you're saying that if she had shoulder-length hair, that it wouldn't have been as big a story?
I'm saying that.
There's a lot to get to here, people. I'm not buying that.
You're not with the times then.
It's very possible. That part I will. All right. That's all I got. We're going to be back at this again tomorrow, and we're going to try it again. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Tuesday on Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew.